All right, folks, we'll come back to order here, and after discussion with our council, I'm going to call on Mr. Carter to outline what we're going to consider, I think, as we move forward here.
I think the first issue that the board has to consider is the conditional use permit for the outdoor storage. If that is approved, then we can move forward with the waivers that are necessary to implement it.
Okay.
But that's a fundamental issue that needs to be decided by the board.
So his recommendation as our council is that we'll consider the conditional use permit first on the outdoor storage. If that is approved, then we'll move forward with the discussion of the waivers that are required. Is that what I'm hearing, Mr.
Yes.
Carter? Okay. All right. Chair will now entertain a motion on the conditional use permit request on the outdoor storage. This is on the outdoor storage. Any motions on the conditional use on the outdoor storage?
Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Hampton?
you have to lead me through this a little bit since I'm the newbie here, but I think we need to take a vote on this. My motion is to deny the conditional use. I don't know how many reasons I've got to give. I just don't think I don't think the applicant has produced applicable reasoning and documents and a plan. And I really think we need to vote on it because if I was Mr. Laws, I'd want to know where I stand instead of tabling it. So I don't think that's the right thing to do, at least for the applicant.
Okay. Mr. Carter, I would think he would need to have some reasons to deny. I mean, can't just say you deny, but I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but we probably need to have some language that would support, your position of denying the conditional use. Is that correct, Mr. Carter?
That's correct, and I think if you look under Section 5, conditional use permit outdoor storage, it has the suggestions if you're going to make a motion to deny it. Is that not in there, Jim?
Well, you would use what's on the item number 2, the conditional use permit for the outdoor storage, where you have a checklist. Let's see what page, it's on page 3, that it's essential or desirable to the community and not in conflict with the elements and objectives of the comprehensive plan. You have to use it whether you're approving or denying it.
I'd have to be shown where that is. I'm lost.
It's on page 3 of your staff report, and actually you would just be using the, actually, I'm sorry, it's on page 4, item number 5.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'll try this again.
Okay.
I'll start all over. I want to deny the conditional use permit because I don't think this allows the proper integration in the community as specifically named in the zoning regulations. I don't think the characters and objectives of the proposed use and the potential impacts on the community and surroundings are appropriate. And I don't think that the community or neighborhood has a need or proposed use for these potential benefits to the community or the neighborhood.
Okay. Mr. Carter, is that adequate?
Yes.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second? Mr. Finney seconds. All right. Now discussion on the motion to deny the conditional use permit on the outdoor storage. This is a motion to deny. And is there any discussion? Yes, sir. Mr. Douglas.
I think we should add in there as an amendment that, based on the testimony of the applicant, that he wasn't sure exactly what he's going to do with the outdoor storage, because he wasn't sure if he's going to add buildings to it, because we lacked the developmental plan, that we don't really know what potential impacts it could have around the community, around the surrounding areas, for us to make a rational decision on this. So based on his testimony, I just think that we should include that, because he's indicated he's not sure he's going to put a building in there or storage units, if he's going to disturb the land. We're not sure. I mean, I think he has a purpose, but I'm not sure he clarified those purposes like he did on the indoor storage.
So what would be your
So the
amendment?
amendment would be is that based on his testimony also, it was lacking the developmental plan of the exact information that was needed to perform a logic objective to the proposed use and potential impacts on the surrounding areas. That's just the amendment I would add. I mean, it goes along with him, but it basically, as one of the objectives, I think we don't have the information in front of us to make that decision on the developmental plan for the conditional use.
I'll let my motion stand as is, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Well, we can always handle it as an, as an amendment. If that's, Mr. Carter, is that, is that?
Motion to amend takes precedent over the motion on the floor, but you have to have
Correct.
a second and you have to vote on it.
I agree. Do we have a second on Mr. Douglas's proposed amendment? Mr. Finney, you second? Okay. All right. Would you please state again what your amendment exactly is? So that
Let me see if I can just short it up. I would say, including with the motion denied, with all along with the other following factors that was mentioned in the original motion, that one of the factors should be that based on the testimony of the applicant, for a lack of giving us a clear understanding of the developmental plan, what potential impact it could make on the community or the surrounding area for making that decision. So it's just a lack of developmental plan. I mean, we had one on a conditional use permit for the indoor storage, but we just don't have one for the outdoor. And based on his own testimony, he's indicated he wants to do it outdoor storage,
Okay.
but he's not sure what he's going to do.
A lot of language to put into a
Well,
motion
I'm just
amendment,
giving
so-
the explanation, but the amendment would be is the developmental plan lacking of to make that decision.
Does everyone understand what his amendment is? What he's wanting to do? Okay, everybody, so, and we'll do this by voice vote on the amendment, if that's okay with the commission. Then his motion, or his amendment, would be that there's just not enough detail in the plan for the outdoor storage proposal.
To determine the outcome, the impact on the community.
Okay.
So are we voting on the amendment or on the?
Voted on the amendment. Correct. This is a vote on the amendment. All those in favor of Mr. Douglas's amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Okay,
Show of hands, so you know who said no.
okay. It's, okay, we got 2 opposed and everyone else is in favor. All right.
Sure she understands who they were, so. Shelley, do you know?
Ms. Bonet and Mr. Hampton. So the amendment passes. All right, now we'll consider the motion as amended. Mr. Hampton's motion as has been amended. So is there any discussion, and we'll do this by recorded vote, but is there any discussion on Mr. Hampton's motion as amended? Any further discussion? Sorry?
I'll
Ms.
keep
Bonet.
this brief.
Okay.
Basically, the way my brain is working is I look at this, and if I ignore the development plan and all the waivers that have been requested, if I just look at the property and think, would I consider a conditional use permit for outdoor storage? Yes, I would. However, if I then continue to look at the waivers and the development plan, my voting may go in an opposite direction. I'm just wondering in my mind if we should just flat out say, no, you can't do outdoor storage at all. Or if we say yes, but the way you're thinking is not going to work, find another way. That's the way my brain is working through this motion, and I just wanted to put that out there.
Okay, I understand. And I don't know what's wrong with our lights today. But the motion on the floor is it's a motion as amended, and so we've got to consider that at this point. And if it were to fail, then we can consider something else. So, all right, Ms. Nunn, let's take the vote, and this is the motion as amended. Mr. Hampton's motion that has been amended.
Please clarify, this is a motion to deny.
Right, motion to deny, that's
So-
correct.
For the outdoor,
So if you vote yes, you are denying,
Thank you.
That's correct.
That's what I needed.
You vote no, you're voting against the motion to deny. So if you want to deny the conditional use, vote yes. If you don't want to deny it, vote no.
Is yes. And this is,
Yes. All right, let's do the vote.
all right. Okay, Mr. Falvey,
Yes.
Mr. Finney,
Yes.
Mr. Halfling,
Yes.
Mr. Hampton,
Yes.
Mr. Horton,
Yes.
Ms. Bonet,
No.
Ms. Crosby,
Yes.
Mr. Douglas. Yes. Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Klingenfuss.
Yes.
And Mr. Mesker,
Yes.
and Ms. Smith.
Yes.
All right, the motion to deny, as amended, passes on a vote of 11 to 1. So with that, that concludes this docket, and we will take our 10-minute recess to reset for our next docket.
Oh my goodness. Did I do that right? Because I put deny so I wouldn't get confused.